Greetings and welcome to the Casual Wargamer. A few days ago, Games Workshop dropped the announcement of Warhammer 40k 10th edition, putting an end to months of rumours and starting a few new ones. I've given it a few days for the community to settle down, see what everyone's thoughts and feelings are, before putting out this video. Firstly, I'm going to start by saying I'm not a fan of the constant stream of new additions. I would much rather Games Workshop focus on a single game system and stop changing it. Contrary to some opinion, other than some Codex power creep and far too many stratagems, for me personally, 9th edition has been the best edition of the game so far. I understand that new editions exist really to put money into the company coffers, but I feel that rather than constantly changing editions and systems every few years, Games Workshop should just release a new edition as incorporating all of the FAQs and errata that have come up since they last printed it. For a company that claims to be a miniatures manufacturer over a games company, they seem to like churning out a lot of these editions. That being said, let's just take a quick look at 10th edition. From the limited information that we have, we can see that the system has been heavily simplified. It feels even more like 40k is slipping towards Age of Sigmar, far more than it did even under 8th and 9th. If this is a good or a bad thing, I can't say. I know that even as a casual player, I like to have some crunch to my rule system. Simplifying a game helps bring new players in, but I'm not convinced that it's good for the community or the game in the long term. Mainly, we have seen some change to how data sheets work. It's hard to say exactly how these changes will operate until we see them on the tabletop. The stat block of units has been reduced down to a mere handful of stats. Apparently the toughness cap has been removed, so hopefully that will mean things like tanks and monstrous creatures will be a little bit more survivable. Likewise, it seems as though the leadership stat has changed, perhaps requiring a 2d6 roll and needing to roll higher than your leadership score. One nice addition seems to be the apparent return of Universal Special Rules, or USRs. I liked the flavour of each army having its own name for a given rule, but it was a little bit awkward. Going back to a standard USR is probably a very good move. I mean, nobody says disgustingly resilient, they always say feel no pain. People are just going to get used to this and it's going to work fine. It's a positive. We also have a new stat, OC, which I think I've said stands for Objective Control. And it seems that in 10th edition, models will have different OC scores for the purposes of who controls an objective. The Termagant that was previewed has an OC of 2, and I imagine that most units might be 1, or in some cases even 0. So it would seem that, and this is just going by one datasheet, that Horde units might be better at seizing objectives. I like this, but it needs to be balanced across different armies and different units. Something that is missing from these preview datasheets, however, is the signs of power level and points cost. Either they decided to withhold that information from us for the time being, or army building could possibly be different than what we have presently. Additionally, through the trailer for 10th edition, we have seen some nice new units for Primaris, Marines, and Tyranids. This makes me happy for my own Primaris Successor chapter. I am, however, surprised that Terminators have remained and will be usable by both Firstborn and Primaris. I really felt in the run-up to this that Aggressors would end up getting boosted under 10th and becoming the replacement for Primaris Marines. In a good way, it's nice for people that have Firstborn armies, they're not going to lose out. But I'm also wondering whether what we will see in 10th edition will be Tactical Marines, for example, disappearing but appearing under the name of Intercessors, so you can still use your old models, maybe with perhaps some of the upgrades gone. Tyranids look pretty nice as well. They seem to be getting a good boost with some of the new units in the army, in the trailer. We've seen a giant floating psychic brain, and potentially either some people are saying it's a winged hive tyrant, others are saying it's a winged shrike. It might even be a brand new unit entirely. We also saw some weird tentacle feeder beasts, and I fully expect these new options to get showcased on the Games Workshop community webpage at some point in the next few weeks to the next couple of months. In general, for 10th edition, I am reserving any excitement or disappointment until we see more of what the game looks like. The community got quite vocal with some of the previews given by 9th edition, only for everybody to sigh a relief when we actually saw how it worked. It's almost like Games Workshop sowed a little bit of discontinuity to try and get people talking. It worked, but because of that, I'm going to hold any thoughts back until I actually see the rules in full. So having seen these previews and the announcement trailer, what are your thoughts on what we have coming under 10th edition? One fear I have is it's going to become too much like Age of Sigmar, but do you think that's a good or a bad thing? What are you looking forward to most of all? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, guys, take care. Good gaming.